Namaste friends, it's your boy Crypto Gurkha, back again from Vienna, and welcome to the fourth episode of Walk the Talk Season 3 in Tel Aviv around stock recession. For this episode, I've got Frico Ben from StarknetID as a guest. As you may have noticed, StarknetID made a lot of buzz recently in the StarkNet ecosystem. So what are the guys exactly doing? Stay tuned to find out, and here's the intro. Hey guys, I'm here with my friend Frico Ben from StarknetID. Hello sir, how are you?
I'm good, and you? Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm great. The StarkNet session is amazing. How do you like it so far?
It's been really great so far. We had a lot of food, a lot of good people, a lot of really talented people, talented cryptographer, talented developer, talented business developer.
Everything,
it's been great.
the whole shebang. So I guess without further ado, let's start to walk the talk. Thank you for being here. So Frico or Ben, what do you prefer more?
Ben.
Ben, all right. Ben, tell me something about what you're building on. What is StarknetID?
So basically, StarknetID aims to be the identity service on StarkNet. And what does that mean? It means that we want to be the on-chain profile, the on-chain identity that gathers all the data from the different other chains, but also the data generated by the user on StarkNet. So basically, in the normal thing, what we do is that you can emit and mint a StarkNet identity. It's free, and on this StarkNet identity, it's a version identity. You'll have nothing written on it. And you can add to this StarkNet identity a Stark name, which will act as an ENS name. And after that, you'll be able to add other data on your identity and add other things. So it's basically a good summary of what we do.
What's the difference between StarknetID and ENS besides that you're building on StarkNet?
So the difference, and the main difference, is that in StarknetID, we see it as the passport of StarkNet. So it means that we create two different blocks. The first block is the StarkNet identity, which is not a Stark name or that Stark domain. A StarkNet identity is just an NFT where you can write data on it. So I can write my ENS on it, I can write my Discord handle on it, I can write my Twitter handle, my Telegram, etc., etc. You can write whatever you want. And on top of it, we decided to create also .stark domains. So .stark domains is a thing that you can write on, a thing that you can write on your StarkNet identity, but you can also write your ENS, for example, and you'll be able to do so soon enough. So this is the main difference. When on ENS, it's only the name. And in order to have the identity, the NFT, you'll need a name and you have to pay. On StarkNet ID, you just have to create your identity, and if you don't want to use Stark name, the .stark that we sell, then you are able to have the benefits of an identity and still not pay.
Okay. Sorry, just one second. Let's take a seat here.
Yeah.
You and your team participate a lot in the hackathons around our ecosystem, and you recently also participated at the competition of OnlyDoes. Could you tell us something about what you built?
Yeah. So basically, on StarkNet today, we have a lot of things to build, and our focus on StarknetID is to build things around identity. So about on-chain identity, we have, of course, domains, so .it, .stark, etc. We also have PFPs, so your profile pics, and we have credentials. And what we've been working on this week in the Hacker House in Tel Aviv is credentials. So the goal was to create an SBT. So an SBT is like a Salbon token that you emit to reward someone. For example, a diploma. So imagine that you went to school and you went to a good school and you have a diploma. You don't want to be able to transfer it. It's not like a normal NFT. So you will not be able to transfer it. It's an SBT. And we wanted to build these SBTs, but on StarkNet. And on StarkNet, we have something called account abstraction. And with account abstraction, it's a bit tricky because you cannot transfer the NFT, so the soundbar token, you will not be able to transfer it, but you'll be able to transfer the account, because with account abstraction you are able to transfer the account. So basically what we did is we found a solution to that where we add some private keys to your SBT, but it's a bit tricky to explain, and I can go through if you want.
Please, maybe short and brief.
Yeah, short and brief. So what we do is like we add a private key to an SBT, and this private key will be able, with this private key, any owner of the SBT, the owner of the private key, will be able to redeem the SBT even if the SBT is not in his wallet anymore. So this is how it works. So basically, if I can transfer my my SBT to someone, but this someone will not be able to be sure that he will keep it, because I still have the private key, then it's really SBT soulbound, because you cannot sell it, you cannot transfer it without being sure that that the owner lost the private key. So this is how it works. It's a bit like account on Ethereum. You can not sell an account on Ethereum or on any EVM blockchain, because you are not sure that the guy that sells you the account lost his private key. So you don't sell accounts, and this is basically our guess with our thesis, at least with SBT on StarkNet. It's an experiment, but it's an experiment that we aim to do again and again and again around identity on StarkNet, because this is what we want to do, to build identity infrastructure on StarkNet.
Besides that, what's your vision for StarknetID for the long term? Do you have any philosophy you might share with us?
Yeah, so the vision is like in the center of StarkNet, StarkNet identity space, we have the StarknetID, which is your passport. It's free, and anybody can write on it. And then so let's say StarknetID Labs, the StarknetID team, we can also write on it, and we'll add things to it that we'll use as the business model for .stark, for example, or any other PFPs or any other SBTs, etc. We'll try to build the infrastructure around the StarkNet identity. But the end goal is that people will, from themselves, write things and will create things around this StarkNet identity. And then it will be really useful for protocols, because they will not have to query the data here and query the data another data here, or asking again their user to change their profile pic, their username, their KYC, etc., etc. The end goal is that we have all the data on your StarkNet passport, which is your StarkNet identity, and even us, we're just, this is just an NFT anymore. It's not our NFT. It's just the identity. It's a public tool, really.
You collaborate with a lot of the projects in our ecosystem, in the StarkNet ecosystem. Could you tell us something about it? Like, you recently did a collab with Bravos as well. And do you have other collaborations upcoming, or which you recently did?
Yeah, so recently we made a lot of collaborations, because we just launched on mainnet 1.5 months ago, and we had 10 collaborations so far on mainnet. So it's pretty cool. So we are launching one collaboration every week, but the last big one was with Bravos, where with Bravos you are now able to register your .bravos.stark domain, so it's a subdomain. So for example, you could create gurka.bravos.stark, and with this everyone will be able to have a StarknetID, a .stark domain for free. So this is the main collaboration that we made, cool, and the biggest. But we also had collaboration with Brick, where they add a Brick.stark or the .stark name on the app, with Voyager also, and soon we'll other protocols on StarkNet. Yeah, we will a lot of protocols: Nostra, 10K Swap, MySwap soon. You know, all the big protocols on StarkNet, Mean Square, of course. So yeah.
So it's like beneficial that they can also have their own domain, so to speak. Yeah,
the goal at the end is that really the end user will only have to set his data on the StarkNet identity, and then on the StarkNet ecosystem, we'll all share the data of this user. What I mean by share the data is like only the data that you want to share. So
Yes,
your
yes.
username, your Twitter if you want to share it, your profile pic if you want to share it, etc., etc. If you don't want to share the data, you just don't write it on chain.
Okay, cool. So, guys, that should be it. Actually, I've got no further question. Thank you very much, Ben, for your time.
Thank you, Gurka.
Thank you for your hat. This is the StarknetID hat, and I'll put in, of course, I'll put in all the information down below. And thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.